Hello. So today I'm going to talk to you about herbs. Why would we take herbs? How far herbs go back in history? And then how they're used coming into our era and why they're not so commonly used. Also, how they're made, not the herbs, but how synthetic drugs are made, the pharmaceutical drugs. And also why I started taking herbs and which herbs I would recommend to take and how to take them. So hopefully just a short video today talking about herbs and looking at how far herbs go back. They go back a long way. The first written records of medicinal plants being used to treat illness was on clay tablets over 5,000 years ago by the Sumerians in Mesopotamia. And they would use about a dozen herbal remedies using over 250 plants, different plants. So later on, we have the ancient Egyptians, around about 1500 BCE, before Christ. They wrote the Ebers Papyrus, and on here they have listed over 850 different herbal medicines or different herbal concoctions. And another early herbal tradition would have been the written record of Ayurveda, which is a system of medicine from India and also the surrounding Asian areas. And then we also have the legendary Chinese emperor Qianlong, and he's been credited with writing the foundational Materia Medica of the classical Chinese medicine called Pen Sao Qing. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. And this lists over 365 herbs, so there's a herb for every day of the year with the Chinese herbs. It's believed that some of these traditional practices may date back to about as early as 2700 BCE, which is almost 5,000 years ago. So very, very ancient use of herbal remedies and herbal concoctions. So a little bit more in recent history, we come to Hippocrates, who was the Greek physician and philosopher, and this would have been around about 400 BCE, so 400 years before the year zero. And he and some around him, they were the first to write down a system that separated medicine from religious practice. So Hippocrates, he insisted that sickness originates from the physical body rather than being caused by a spiritual illness or punishment from the gods, because the Greeks had lots of gods. So this wasn't very popular at the time, and he was actually put in prison for speaking out about this. And he used his time well, because whilst he was in prison, he penned the writing called The Complicated Body, which includes many medical theories that are actually still applied today in medicine. I mean, there's so much history to go in. I haven't even touched on the herbal history of the Native Americans and South Americans, Africans, and lots of other countries that would use herbal or natural remedies. All the way down through the Middle Ages, there's lots of different famous people that have used herbal medicine. Basically, up until the modern era, or the 20th century, herbal medicine was medicine. So that's what people would use. And I'll put a link to the history of herbal history if anyone's interested in reading a bit more about that in the description on this video. Coming into our era, so beginning in the 1930s, synthetic drugs gradually replaced the herbal medicines, which normally would have been on the shelves in drugstores. I'm talking mainly from the US, and it would have been the UK or Western countries as well. Synthetic penicillin then started this synthetic drug revolution, and synthesized drugs, they were also given a boost by the Durham-Humphrey Act of 1954, which then legally designated drugs as prescribed by a physician, that's a mouthful, or as over-the-counter self-selection medicines. So because of this, herbal medicines then made their way into food supplement stores, some of which you may know. And so that was the end of them being used as medicine of the day. So these prescribed or over-the-counter medicines, pharmaceutical drugs, how are they made? Do they have a link to herbal medicine? I wasn't aware of this until I started going into herbs myself, but if we go back to the Sumerian, the Mesopotamians, and the Egyptian practices that we mentioned before, both of these civilizations, they used the willow leaf, and they used it as an anti-inflammatory and as a pain reliever. And also Hippocrates later used it to help women ease the pain of childbirth. This willow leaf contains the natural compound that aspirin is actually made from. So aspirin comes from plants, and lots of other drugs come from plants, although most drugs, they are now manufactured completely in a lab, but they take the raw ingredients and copy the plant compounds and then create their own in the labs. Sometimes they use the plant compounds as well as a source for the base for making the drugs. So the US National Institute of Health, they actually are now conducting a large-scale randomized control trial on herbal tinctures, herbal remedies, such as ephedra, which is a herb. Well, they're all herbs. St. John's wort, which is going to be a randomised trial conducted for depression. Also ginkgo biloba, which they want to use it for memory loss. Saul palmetto, which would be used for benign prostate problems, and potential herbal cancer therapies as well. So perhaps herbs are having a comeback, and herbs have an application for virtually everything. I mean, just to name a couple, for example, the Ayurvedic herb ashwagandha, I find it hard to say that one, can be used for nervous conditions, anxiety and stress, and cat's claw can be used to treat high blood pressure, amongst many other herbs. Of course, I mean, it doesn't mean that these can be taken willy-nilly. They are very powerful. And to give you an example of how powerful they are, I started taking herbs when I was in Ireland, and I had always wanted to sleep, but on the beach. So we went a group of friends there, so went to the beach, we camped on the beach, and I was on my herbs, on about 5 different types of herbs for different things. And I forgot the advice when they say not to drink when you take the herbs, and so I drank what I normally would drink. So I thought, I'll have a night off my detox, but I had taken my herbs, and I had a couple of glasses of wine, I think I had a beer, and then I finished off with a whiskey, so I wasn't like drunk or anything. I just enjoyed the evening. We made homemade fish and chips on the barbecue and slept in our tent. In the middle of the night, I was rudely awakened, and I won't say on here what happened, but it was awful, awful. And in the morning, everyone said, "Oh, Eliza, you got a bit drunk last night, didn't you?" I was like, "No, I was poorly, I wasn't drunk." Oh, it was horrible, and I just had the worst hangover, and I hadn't even drunk to get drunk, if you know what I mean. So anyway, that's how powerful. And I realised later on, it's the herbs. You can't take herbs and drink. So don't do that. If you're going to do the herbs, then have the healthy lifestyle to go with it. Even if you're just doing a detox for a while or taking them for a while, don't do what I did. But I'm sure whoever you go to prescribe you the herbs, wherever you get them from, they will give you that advice as well. But why did I start taking herbs? And why would you want to take herbs apart from maybe wanting to treat specific things? I wanted to detox, and I wanted to get a better level of health. I had thyroid issues, I had eczema all over my body, and I went to a specialist who could help me with that. And he said to me that I would need to make sure that my bowel is clear first. So I need to do a bowel detox. I need to take some bowel herbs. I need to take some kidney and liver herbs, because these are the organs that you need to excrete all the toxins from your body. The herbs are amazing at healing and detoxing all the toxins from your body, but you need you need a way out for those toxins. So if your liver, kidneys and bowel is clear, you're good to go with the herbs. And so I took them for that. And yeah, don't drink when you're taking the herbs, but also don't have a poor diet. And it's really limited how much benefit you're going to get from those herbs if you're smoking or if you're eating junk food and drinking alcohol, obviously. You could be just throwing money down the drain, because they're not overly expensive to buy, but you want to get the best out of them, and they need raw preferably raw, like doing a lot of juicing is very good when you're taking the herbs, because it's like they work together with the vitamin A, vitamin C to actually just work wonders in your body and to heal your body from inside out. So if you're committed to the healthy lifestyle, I'd highly recommend that you go and see a herbalist, even if it's just for a while, to do like a detox or something, or to treat a specific condition. Even in some good natural health shops, they have a herbal pharmacy at the back of or attached to the health shop, and they can make up fresh herbal tinctures there for you, and also recommend on and advise on doses and things like that as well. I'm currently taking herbs from a company called Dr. Morse's Herbs. I love these herbs. I'm taking them for menopause symptoms, because with anything it's hard to source good quality products, isn't it, really? So, I mean, I don't work for this company. I don't get paid by this company to promote them. I'm merely suggesting them as a good choice for some herbs that you can buy online. They actually offer free shipping within Europe. Not the UK now, unfortunately, because of Brexit. But their range is incredible. I mean, they just do herbs for everything, as you can see here. I'm taking the adrenal and the endocrine herbs along with the thyroid to support my body through the menopause. And these herbs, they're organically grown, they're wild crafted, so they were grown in the wild. I'd highly recommend them. I mean, I've never seen herbs like these before. I was taking some herbs from the Hüttehüsli in Basel, here in Switzerland. We've got the Hüttehüsli, means herb house, and it's just a pure herb shop, and they make up the tinctures in there, which is brilliant. I bought these menopause drops, and it had like 4 ingredients, and it was working for me, but I just felt like I needed a bit more support. I was having terrible migraines, and they didn't help my migraines. So I went back to this company that I found from my contact in Ireland, and these have such a comprehensive list of ingredients on each bottle. It's absolutely amazing. Like one bottle will have, instead of 4 ingredients that they had in the Hüttehüsli, here they have like 9 or 10 different ingredients in one bottle. So it's a really good comprehensive bottle of tincture that you're getting. So yeah, that's these basically. Yeah, I forgot to take them for like 2 days, and then the migraines came back, and I'm like, oh, I need to go back on the herbs to see me through this process at the moment. I know that with menopause, the adrenal glands are supposed to kick in and take over from the ovaries that produce the estrogen and progesterone. But if you're adrenally exhausted, which a lot of women are in Western countries because of high stress, then your adrenals are not up for the job of kicking in then and producing the estrogen, producing the progesterone that your body needs. So that's why you get this hot flush, because it's basically the body firing up or trying to kickstart your adrenals to get them working. That's why we have hot flushes. So if you support your adrenals through that process, it might take a year or 2, then your adrenals then, they're getting relief, they're getting supported, they're getting the herbs that they need to function well and properly. So that's why they're working for me. No migraines and no hot flushes. Yippee! So I'll put a link in the video to buy these, or maybe you know of a different company that does really good herbs as well. So really, that's all I have for you today. The choice is yours. You can take the pharmaceutical drugs, often with a long list of side effects, or you can go to the source with herbs. And not that they don't have side effects. Use with caution, don't drink, have a healthy lifestyle, and see a recommended practitioner for prescribing them, because they are powerful. So yes, that's all I have, and have a lovely day, lovely evening wherever you are.